Okay, I thought, why not do a quick little walkthrough, a tour of the new KDE 4.22. Came out about a month ago, and there's been a few patches. It's a little more stable now, and so I've applied all of the latest updates with my Kubuntu install. So I'm running Kubuntu 904 with KDE 4.22, and I'm not a big KDE guy, so I do have to make that disclaimer up front. I'm more of a GNOME user. However, I'm always interested in watching the current development status of KDE. Every time they hit a stable release, I like to take a peek because honestly, I really do like some of the technology they're building into KDE 4, and I am kind of starting to look at GNOME, and I'm starting to wonder where they're going, what's their end game. And I see vision with the KDE team, and I'm not seeing some of that vision with the GNOME team, so I thought I'd like to check it out and see what they're doing. So why not take a brief look at where KDE 4.22 is currently at, from the perspective of not a very big KDE user. I'll have to try to check my biases at the door as much as I can, but I'm afraid they are going to come through. So, with that said, let's take a look at the desktop here. So here's my KDE 4.22 desktop. Now, as a disclaimer, I am running this at 800 by 600, so that way it fits nicely within the video. So if you're looking at it and you think it looks a little scrunched, do bear that in mind. Now, that said, you probably should be able to pull off somewhat of a usable desktop at an 800 by 600 resolution because there are netbooks that are at lower resolutions, and I think when all is said and done, KDE 4.22 actually is pretty functional at 800 by 600, more so than GNOME would be, and I think that is a credit to the development. Now, I've been playing with KDE 4.22 for a bit, and one of the things you'll notice here is these widgets that I have on my desktop. Everything on here is a widget. There's the bar down here, the taskbar, and the menu launcher is a widget. All that stuff, the notes that I have, all this. Even the desktop icons, which I have accidentally turned off and do not know which widget that is and cannot get my desktop icons back. I put myself a little Twitter here, so I can say, trying out the new KDE 4.22 on Kubuntu 9.04. Oops. Streaming my thoughts. What just happened? Streaming my impression at Chris Fisher TV or chrisfisherlive.tv. All right, so apparently I've just Twittered, and that's awesome. Who doesn't love that? I got a little hardware info stats here, and it's pretty nice. It looks good. If you like the really quick access for file browsing, they have options for that. You can bring up a little folder icon they bring default, and you can actually browse through your folder system, navigate around, do the awesome. And once you find something you want, you can open it right here, and it opens up in their new file manager, which is not so new if you're used to KDE. It's called Dolphin, and Dolphin's pretty slick. It's definitely, I think, a little easier to use than Conqueror was as a file manager. But that said, I do think it has some wasted space. And in general, I think all of KDE has wasted space. There's a lot of space in different spots of the applications, and I'll just show you a couple. Dolphin is one. This is a remote desktop client, and this remote desktop client really takes a ton of space. I think to do a remote desktop client right, it's probably closer to more like something that you would get on more of the native Windows or Mac remote desktop client. If you look at the Mac remote desktop client, it's not very big. That is the entire remote desktop window for the Mac. It's very small. It takes probably 10 lines on the screen, versus the KDE remote desktop client, which is full screen. And then to do a remote desktop, you have to go through several jump hoops, and it wants you to add every server you connect to. Sorry, it's windy here. My door just closed. It wants you to connect every server. Every server you connect to wants you to add it to the wallet. It's the KDE wallet for storing your passwords. It's kind of annoying. And then take a look here at the Archive Manager. The Archive Manager has a very large section of its screen with nothing except for a box with no archive loaded. Now, that's theoretically okay, because I believe here, and I'm not positive, but let's try this. Let's go through this together. If I go load something, maybe like, I think I have something here in my public folder. If I go open up this tar file, I think it should put I'm going to close my window so the door stops slamming. I think I should put some information here on the side. No, it doesn't. Okay. So that's just a huge, epic waste of space. Why do you have this huge sidebar that's not doing anything? But, you know what? Okay, all right, there you go. So you can change it. That's not so bad. All right. So that's one thing. Now, Armorock, I'm not going to pick too much on Armorock. I look at this. I don't really know what to do with it, but I'm not going to pick on them too much because I've talked to the guys recently at Linux Fest Northwest, and they're making a lot of UI changes. But I don't know what to do with any of this. This is not something I would not even know if it wasn't for these big play buttons that this thing plays music. So that's okay, though. I mean, I know Armorock's great. I know it actually has a lot of awesome features, so I'm not really meaning to dog on it. I do think the UI is a little cumbersome. Okay, but let's talk. I've bashed for a little bit. Let's talk about a few good things. Plasma widgets. These are actually kind of cool. There's several basic ones that at least come with the Kubuntu packages that has a guy that has to work in a text editor and in the console I like a lot. Check this out. Little console widgets here. I can and I can move this around. I can see if you get this little handle here, and if you grab it by this little handle, you can move it around, and that makes it a little easier. Now, remember, I'm working with 800 by 600 here, so it's not super. It's not on a big res. It would look a lot better. But these are different profiles I could have theoretically for console. Maybe I have like a HTML console or something, different color schemes where if I go in here and I set up different profiles, they get listed here in this widget and I can click it and it launches it immediately. They have the same thing for their text editor. It's very cool. I don't think I needed that much space taken up on my screen for something like that, but I like that. All right. Let's look at the basic menu structure here. It's pretty nice. It's easily laid out. The first thing I noticed is they've picked some really good default icons. You can, Instant Messenger, Armorock, File Manager, System Settings. Getting going was very easy because of this. And then you can, of course, go drill down individually to specific areas and go find what you're looking for. So they've got the whole deal. And then anything you can't find, like, for example, remote desktop, then finds the remote desktop client. So I think that we're getting kind of used to that. I think they've done a good job with this. It was asked in the chat room if I can hide all of the widgets at once. Wow. That definitely was not what I was going for. I don't know what that was. Okay. Wow. Well, now, what was that? If I zoom out. So the whole desktop is a widget. Why, though? I don't know what's going on. I guess those are my different desktops, but... Uh-oh. What did I do? Well, that sucks. So that's not super intuitive. I'm sorry for that. I don't think that's super. And now, so I've gone into some sort of widget dashboard, and I don't know how to get out of it. Oh, that sucks. Well, that's going to make it hard to show you guys what I want to show you. I'm trying to think of the scenario where this would actually be useful. I'm totally stuck. There's no way for me to get out of this. There's no command I know. Anybody in the chat room know of a command I can get? I'm in the widget dashboard, and I want to get out of the widget dashboard. I think I'm totally stuck in here. Oh, cool. A little widget browser, though. Oh, I'm back. I got that back. Okay. So I can't really find my... That's fine. Press the escape button. Escape button's not doing it for me. I'm not getting anything from the escape button. Let me know if you've got another idea. All right, maybe if I added... Can I add, like, just a desktop show widget dashboard. Yeah, zoom in, but yeah, I'm not gonna. No, I don't think even if I killed X, I don't think it would. Okay. Well. Okay. There we go. I'm on like this plane. All right, here we go. Now we're back in business. Ha! Fixed it. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, but you could. If that's ever something you wanted to do with your desktop, you could do it. All right. So, what I wanted to show you a little bit about. Here, can I see what else? What other shot do I like that shot. Let's go with that shot. One of the things, let's see if I can get it to generate. The new event notification system in KDE 4 is really cool. I don't know if this is something this might be the Kubuntu specific event notification system, but they've integrated it really well with Kubuntu. It works really great. I don't know if I have any systems that can do it. I don't have anything at this point that will generate it for you, but it's very nice. Oh, I know it'll do it. If I go download something, the event notification system integrates with downloads. So let's go over to Jupiter Broadcasting. Okay, so I'll just go download like a MP3 file from Jupiter Broadcasting so you can see the event notification pop up. This really actually pretty slick. It integrates all the way with a download notification. I like it a lot. So let's go get the latest episode of the Linux Action Show. And we will... And I already downloaded Flash, but Flash was an interesting deal. I installed Flash from a deb package from Adobe, but then I had to go tell... I had to go tell Conqueror to go scan for all my plugins. It didn't like automatically find it. Okay, so here's the event pop-up for a download, and just look at that. Is just slick looking. Oh, except for when it disappears. I guess it doesn't have to stand up. But when it's done, it should come back. Is my understanding. And I think it looks good, and it's the same exact look for updates. And for when you need to install something, if there's like you launch Omrock for the first time, it says, hey, this would run a lot better if you had an MP3 codec installed. It's the same exact window, all very unified. I really like that. Okay, now here's something I did earlier. Sorry about bumping the mic there. I've done this twice now, and I've accidentally deleted my task manager. Okay, so the task manager itself is a widget. So now I have to go back in here and find so let's do task manager, and but that's down there. Oh, now why wouldn't my download show? That's really weird. This is another thing that's kind of interesting. It's their hardware manager. Here's all my devices that are connected. Here's my networking. It's just cool looking. Again, you can expand and break stuff off, and so I could have these different notification systems broken off onto my desktop. I don't know actually. I'm not a big fan of putting a ton of stuff on my desktop, but I think it's neat that you have that option. And then there is a way I can expand it back out again. There we go. So I can collapse, and so if I had a ton of VPN connections, I wouldn't have to have a VPN connection list that went a mile long. I can expand it down and only look at like the Ethernet connection. And that's pretty rad. So I like that. All in all, I think it's a pretty good update to KDE. It's definitely getting there. It's still, I don't know if it's just because it's so different. It feels really, really, really hard for me to use. I don't know what that's about, but there's a few things they've done that I cannot believe GNOME doesn't do. And I know a lot of people out there don't always care about the theme and the look, but check this out. Check how easy it is to install a theme. All right, so here's my currently installed theme. It's Oxygen. If you've looked at KDE, you've seen Oxygen before. You click New Theme. This deal automatically goes out and gets the themes from KDE Look. Love that. Instead of having to go to the website myself, it goes and gets it. You can see I've already installed a couple here. I can browse so I know which ones I've installed and which ones I haven't. Glassified sounds cool, so I click Install. Boom, Bob's Your Uncle goes out and downloads it. Now I've got it. I can drop this out, click Glassified, Apply, and you don't really notice it in the window, and I don't know why that is because none of my themes have changed the window look. But you do notice it here in the widgets, and you notice it in the bar down here and in the menu itself. So that changes. Also note that I'm getting a level. You see how I'm getting transparency? I don't have proprietary drivers installed. I'm getting transparency and pseudo 3D effects without having anything loaded. It's the new KWin manager is really cool. So these are these themes here are just changing the plasma. They're not changing the actual KWin theme. So I think maybe there's a different spot. Oh, I was gonna say they also have the same interface for getting new wallpapers, which is kind of rad. So you can go here, and if you really like yellow tulips, you can download it, and then and then you can pick your yellow tulips. So now I've got yellow tulips, and it's a small thing, but it's so nice to just click, and you already have it. All right, so let's go to System Settings, and I'll see if I can figure out how to change my KWin themes here. I'll try Appearance first. Ah, all right. I think this is it. Okay. It doesn't look like there's a lot of options. GTK. Oh. Oh. Wow, that actually is a very good GTK look. I'm surprised. Usually when you do like the QT themes in GTK, it looks horrible, but when you do the GTK themes in KDE, it looks fine. Windows. I don't. Oh, yeah. I don't like that at all. Let's go back to Oxygen. So, though, again, I think my comment about wasted space applies in here, too. There is just, in my opinion, the bottom here, the top, there's a lot of really wasted space. If you look at the GNOME system preferences and things like that, they just utilize their space a lot better. I mean, heck, even the Mac OS X system preferences, if you've seen a Mac, the system preferences will auto-resize to not take up as much space. They have the technology to do that here in KDE, so I think that would help. But even when it's not full screen, there's still this huge block of unused space. I just want to like drag this up. I don't need all of that. And when you're in a tighter resolution, like on a netbook, that's kind of a big deal. Though, like I said earlier, it already fits on an 800 by 600 resolution better than GNOME would. So you got to give credit where credit's due. All right. So in the past, I couldn't resize the panel. So let's see what my options are here. I can auto hide, can minimize panel. Windows can cover it. No, I want it on top. Huh. That's kind of neat. That's kind of cool. Almost kind of gives it a little bit of a dock look. Oops. I drug off my task manager again. Boy, I do that a lot. I am losing that task manager like crazy. Okay. Okay. Not bad. Height. Oh, here it is. I'm looking for height. Height. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, beauty. Was not able to do that in earlier versions of KDE properly. So that's nice. Okay, so now I've got a really small dock, and now stuff will fit much better on my screen. I don't know if I probably went too small, but I'm already now see you still have a lot of wasted space. Like I don't really need that crap. But yeah, that's better, right? That is a lot better. What are my options when I right? Preview file. No. Nope, not gonna preview. Okay. Cool beans. So I downloaded the Linux Action Show. It's not showing the artwork for it, but every file we have has artwork in it. So I'm not sure why the artwork's not showing. Instead of showing a generic CD instead of our actual logo. Or yeah, that's what I put in there as a logo. Well, I'm gonna rate this thing. Yeah, you bet. Okay, cool enough. Oh, I have my speakers turned down. That's why I don't hear anything. All right. Well, I think that's kind of my basic look at KDE 422. Stability is way improved. Stability is way up. They've really gotten better at that. I still don't think it's there for me to use yet. I don't know. It doesn't feel quite like it's robust enough. It doesn't quite feel like it's polished just enough yet. I feel like it's on the path to polish. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I can see where this is going to be in 2 more releases or 3 more releases. I can see where it's going to be now. I like some of the technology they're embedding here. Some of it, like when I zoomed out on my whole desktop and it was really tiny and small, that seems really pointless. I mean, I know it's so you can do multiple desktop stuff, but I'll show what I'm talking about again. So if I zoom out here, this seems pointless. I don't know. And now I'm in some sort of, then I end up going into some sort of weird thing here, and there's some screen draw issue, and I don't get why you'd ever want to do that. So there's things that I feel like are at some level, and I'm going to get heat for this, but I feel like at some level have been done for technology's sake. Like, it was like, oh, we could do this, so let's just do it. And I don't think that's always a good idea. Then again, I'm the guy that puts a binary clock on my desktop, so what the hell do I know? Because I just do that for technology's sake. But I guess I wouldn't want them not to give me the option. That's definitely a double-edged sword, because I would complain if they restricted the option from me, and now that they've given me the option, I'm complaining. It just felt like it was too easy to screw myself up. When I was prepping for this show, I ended up prepping a lot longer than I expected because I just had to figure out how to do a few basic things. It was too hard. That shouldn't be like that. So I feel like they're not there yet, but they're on that path. And that's what I mean by it. It's going to be there in a couple revisions. Not there yet, but it's on the way. Anyways, this is my look at KDE 4.22, and this was done on Ubuntu 9.04. Probably going to stick with GNOME for now, but maybe in a couple releases, I might just be doing a different kind of review where I talk about why I've made the switch. Wouldn't that be interesting after years of using GNOME? I started out as a KDE guy. I think right now, if I was going to go back to KDE, I would go to KDE 3.5 series, one of the final, more recent builds of KDE 3.5. Kind of, I think, where the sweet spot's at. But there's potential for the future. I'm going to look in the future at ARMRock, too. I talked to one of the guys that's working on ARMRock, and they're doing some actually pretty cool stuff with the ARMRock, and they're changing some of the designs, some of the UI, those kinds of things. So there's some improvement being done there, but for now, it's also just the interface is just too hard for me to use. I look at that and there's so much going on in ARMRock. It just hurts the brain. I'd almost rather just have like XMMS and just use that. All right. Hope you've enjoyed it. Go ahead and leave me feedback in the IRC chat room for this look at KDE 4.22, or shoot me a message on Twitter. I'm twitter.com/ChrisLAS.